Hi friends and fellow earth angels, it's Gladys and welcome back to another one of my pick a card readings. And this spread will be themed empowering messages from the goddess. So we have the new moon in Taurus. I love the moon energy, so I'm going to tap into that vibration. And I really wanted to work with the divine feminine energy. So I chose the Goddess Guidance Oracle cards to start. So we're going to pick themes from this deck. And then we'll get clarifiers and additional messages from Nature's Whispers. And then I'm going to use Queen of the Moon Oracle. This is one of my favorite decks to use personally. And I'm going to tap into the empowering messages from the shadow aspect. What is in the unseen that you need to know? And then clarifying using Sufi wisdom. And we're gonna finish with an overall message from Soulful Woman. So for me, the goddess energy, the feminine energy is receptive, intuitive, magnetic, laughter, play. She's flow and movement. And this is an energy vibration that we all possess no matter what gender we connect with. And there's a lot of movement of the feminine energy on the planet right now. The feminine energy is resilient. She's a multitasker. She is a gatherer, right? So we have this powerful energy right now. And I woke up this morning and I'm like, Goddess, that's what I'm doing. So here I am. So let me start by opening up space for us, inviting in all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, God, source, creator of the universe, and all his holy beings of light who would like to hold space for us today. I'm going to invite in the goddess energy. I'm just imagining my heart connected to Mother Earth, the Holy Spirit, all the goddess healers in the collective consciousness. And I ask that the messages that come through be for your best and highest good, and the best and highest good of all concerned. All right, friends, so let me start. 3 cards, goddesses, that'll pick our themes. Okay, so let's see here. I'll flip them over all at once. So we have that's the first one. One more. Or 2 more. That's number 2. And 1 more. What goddess would like to come out? Ooh, and there's the 3rd one. Okay, friends, so as always, as I pull these pick a card readings, you can certainly watch all 3. As I flip them, you might intuitively know. Please know that you can come back to my channel anytime. Energy moves. We're constant in a vibration of flow and shifting and like a flip in the matrix. So you can come back to this reading anytime and be guided to different readings for insight. So as this is a general reading and many people are watching all at once, take in what resonates and release the rest to the collective. All right, so here we go. Number 1, Irene. We have peace. There's no need to worry as everything is working out beautifully. I love it already. I already feel like my heart, it's almost like a hug. Irene feels like a hug. There's that maternal energy. So again, maybe you'd be attracted to the picture. The name could resonate with you. The theme here, the words. So there's Irene, peace. And then we have Damara, guiding children. You are good at helping, counseling, and healing children. Use your skills to help children now. So this could be teachers, nurses, a message for social workers. Maybe you're a mom who's having a hard time with your children. So this pile could be for you. And then the 3rd pile we have here, Athena, fabulous. I've been really connecting with this owl energy here. Of course, we have the moon. I love that the moon popped in for us. And it says, you know what to do. Trust your inner wisdom and take appropriate action without delay. I don't think there is a further description required on that one. And like I said, all three can resonate with you, or you could be guided to pile 1, pile 2, or pile 3. So I am going to take a couple minutes and I am going to pick the cards for the rest of the reading. I like to do it on camera as it's authentic and you can see how the cards fly out. If you're not interested in watching that part, I will put the timestamps in the description box below. All right, so let's see here. Irene, what additional message do you have for those that chose pile 1? And Damara, what additional message do you have for those that chose pile 2? Go. Oh, so there's 2 here. Use those. And Athena, Goddess Athena, what additional message do you have for those that chose pile 3? Okay, so let's see. Go with this one. And Queen of the Moon. Okay, Irene, shadow. What is in the unseen for pile 1? What is in the unseen that pile 1 needs to know? Okay, Damara, what is in the unseen that pile 2 needs to know? And Athena, what is in the unseen? There we go. Pile 3 needs to know. Okay, Sufi wisdom, additional messages regarding the shadow. Irene, additional messages regarding the shadow. We have 1 here. Yep. And Damara, additional messages regarding the shadow for pile 2. And Athena, additional messages regarding the shadow for pile 3. Shadow, that's the unseen. The shadow is connected to the feminine energy in the yin yang symbol. The shadow is it drives our actions. It's our subconscious, and a lot of times we have experiences that we attract that we're unaware of, and it's based on a program, a belief system, an experience we had a lot of times as a child, from like 0 to 12 or before puberty. And so what people don't realize is that's such a definitive age group, and a lot of experiences get stored up in that subconscious, that shadow part, and people can relive those experiences over and over again with different people for many, many years. And so there's been this big awakening for the last couple years of shadow play, shadow work, and it's not good or bad, right or wrong. I think sometimes people fear that because there's work involved in that. There's action. You have to face the beasts, right? And people have these awakenings with work experiences or in their relationships, their partnerships, with their friendships, and even their health and personal experiences. So hoping to get some more clarity for you guys in this reading. And then final overall message from the Soulful Woman deck. So we have Irene, final message from the Soulful Woman deck. to Tamara. And final message from the soulful woman, Athena. Okay, friends, let's get this set up. Okay, let's see here. So we have pick a pile. 1, 2, and 3. I'll give you a moment. Settle into your heart and your physical body. Take a deep breath. And just see where your energy is pulled. You might hear it, see it, feel it, or know it. Okay. And for those of you who chose pile 1, Irene, peace, welcome. So, the message. There is no need to worry as everything is working out beautifully. So as I'm channeling this recording, we are still in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic. But if you're watching in the future and you're way past this experience, of course these messages can resonate in different ways. So one of the things that I'm guided to share here is that this week, so energetically, I feel like the planet is at like the peak of the wave. So we've been going along here and the energy's been moving, and I just keep feeling like the wave rising. And I feel like this is the week where the wave goes up, and there's like a split second where the wave pauses before it breaks, and then it breaks, and then it rushes to the shore. And I feel like this week we're in that rise, like that moment or that pause of energy to shift. So for those of you who chose the peace pile, really capitalize on that energy, that pause. I feel like Irene is coming in to let you know that there's this little mini break of energy right here. And she's reminding you as the energy goes down and the wave breaks and it rushes to shore, that everything is going to be all right, that you have nothing to worry about. So for me, that means we still have some more time in this experience that we're going through, or whenever you're guided to watch this, there's still some time for things to unfold. And I also just got a message that some of you may be at your breaking point. Some of you may be waiting. Maybe you're waiting for something to come in. Maybe you're waiting for something to happen, and there's that pause. And so I feel like this is a time where you can settle into your body and take a deep breath, relax, and align. Call in Creator, God, Source, the universe, whatever that energy is for you as you're in this pause and you're waiting for things to happen. Instead of letting your mind and that ego part of your mind, that mental thinking race and try to make something happen how should I say that? Instead of trying to cycle all the possibilities in your mind, instead of going over and over and over on what could happen, get caught up in worry and what if and how and when, I feel like Creator and the goddess energy is reminding you to take pause and reconnect. When you start to feel uncomfortable or you start to feel overwhelm, fear, anxiety, it's a sign from your physical body and your intuition that you're coming out of alignment with the divine. So if you can recognize that feeling in the body, like, oh, here I am. And I have to say, we're all experiencing it in all different like blips, and it's like waves. It comes and goes. And so this week, or those of you that are watching it, at this time and you're watching this pile number 1, you could feel that and overwhelm. And so Irene is coming in to assist with bringing peace in. And the best and easiest ways to diffuse that energy, not suppress it, not pretend it's not happening, acknowledge it, face it, and then give it up to God. Especially if it's something that's out of your control. If there's something you can take action with, do that. If you need to go online, if you need to get more information, if you need to do research, or there's some action you can take, do it. But if there's nothing you can do, one of my favorite sayings that I got from like a YouTube video from a guy who sold at the time life insurance. And one of the things he said, and I'll always remember, is all you can do is all you can do. And if that's all you can do, then that's all you can do. And, that's what I think of a lot when I start to feel overwhelmed. Let me see here. I also feel like this could be connected to mamas out there. Maybe there's single mamas out there and you're worried about food for your baby, right? And so if you can access your divine feminine energy of receptivity and openness, you can actually call that energy and abundance to you, instead of like trying to force and make something happen. So additional message here, fresh approach. 21, 2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 reminds me of the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. 3 also reminds me that the Ascended Masters are with you, that you're not alone. There's this beautiful energy. Of course, she's looking down upon the water. Of course, here's another moon. And actually, you know what? That's the planet Earth. Looks like the planet Earth. And so it looks like this goddess energy is looking down at the planet Earth. So the goddess wants you to know, those of you who chose pile 1, that she's with you. She's here to access energy with you. And, the fresh approach is kind of what I was talking about before. If you're trying to force something and you're worried and you're trying to make something happen and websites aren't working, or you can't get through because customer service has been overwhelmed in companies. So she's asking you to take a fresh approach. Take pause, pull back. How can you realign with the divine? Ask them for assistance and leave room. What do they say? I just got this image of in the 50s at dances, the nuns would walk around the couples and, they'd kind of push them apart and say, leave room for the Holy Spirit. So I feel like that energy is coming in. And I want to ask you, those of you who chose pile 1, are you leaving room for the Holy Spirit? Are you leaving room for the divine feminine energy, God's vibration to come in and assist? And as you do, I can tell you, great peace will envelop you. So what's in the unseen about your experiences and what's happening? What do you need to know? Pleasure. I love it. So again, here we are with this message. There's a lot of butterfly energies here. So we have, we have the butterfly energy in this card with the fresh approach. We have the butterfly energy in this card. And she's looking up and receiving from the moon. Those of you who resonate or vibrate with the moon cycles, the new moon in Taurus, new moons are about bringing on. So we're at the end of a cycle here of a moon phase and the end of the full moon phase. So what can you be releasing in this phase? What can you be putting aside? I'm seeing the words control, overwhelm, anger for some of you, judgment. And so how can you leave that? Of course, I'm just noticing card number 18 here, right? 1 plus 8 equals 9. 9 is the end of a cycle. So I feel like your shadow is sharing with you that you're at the end of a cycle. What are you tired of going over and over again? What is taking you? What actions, what experiences, what mental thinking is keeping you from peace? And also keeping you from pleasure. This is the feminine energy. The feminine energy is pleasure. She's laughter. She's play. And like I said, if some of you are in this energy of worry and how, when, and what if, I feel like it's keeping you from peace and pleasure. And so there needs to be a new approach, a new way of doing things. And, when you're in that energy of distortion and illusion, it can really keep us from receiving wealth, abundance, thoughts, ideas, creativity, all those things that can bring us into this energy of play and pleasure. So Sufi wisdom, free will, get out of your cocoon. So beautiful here. See, there's like a feminine, I'm seeing this as like a feminine goddess here. And I feel like she's like riding a wave. I don't know if you can see it the way I do, but she's got her long hair flowing. And I feel like she's coming through this tunnel and it looks like she's having an awesome time. So free will. So the goddess is also reminding you that it's up to you. You get to choose how you want to feel in every moment. And I can tell you, friends, I get it. I know I say this often as such a Cancer, emotional, dominant water sign. I get the emotions. I know what it's like to feel emotional, the drama, the addiction to like drama and chaos and the highs and lows of emotions. And, I had to do, some really deep inner work to clear that vibration and that energy. But it was up to me. Like, I really had to get sick of myself. I had to have enough baloney happen to me to finally get fed up and say enough. So I've been on these 2-year cycle of detox and reprogramming. And one of the things that I realized was like I always had the free will. And so listen, you don't have to struggle. There's no heroism in being the martyr. We live in a 3D world that like I said glorifies the multitasker and the feminine energy that can multitask and do everything. But she's burnt, she's overwhelmed, and she's sick of it. And so again, this may be a week or this might be a time where you're just over it. And so this couldn't have come in at a better time. So this fresh approach needs to come from the divine. And I just posted my weekly reading and I'll link it at the end of this video, and it talked about stillness, especially connecting with earth angels who are being of service and wanting to help. There are people that are making masks for people. There are people that are running errands for others, and there's a lot of heart energy that's going out, but you have to remember to fill your tank. And if you're depleted, worry ensues, overwhelm, because you have to. And if you can use that energy, not as good or bad, right or wrong, if you can use the energy of anxiousness or overwhelm just as a signal that you're out of alignment, that you need to replenish. Because I can tell you, friends, when you're on vacation and you're filled up and you've had sunshine and vitamin D and laughter and relaxation, nothing can bother you, right? So I have learned that only when I'm depleted and only when I feel like I've been giving too much, well, I shouldn't say that, only when I start feeling overwhelmed, when I start feeling depleted, I have learned that it comes from a lack of love for myself. It comes from a lack of self-care and self-awareness, meaning I'm giving too much. And so when I start to feel those feelings, for me, it's a signal. And I take and I breathe in the energy. I thank the universe for reminding me, and I get to bed early. Or I will take some time off and I'll get the things that I need to done. Laundry, I'll go eat, I will do some meditation, do some cleansing and clearing until I feel better. And then from there, from the overflow, I can give again. It's the same thing with money. Maybe some of you are wanting to donate or help people and you're limited with your funds and your time, or maybe you don't want to go out because you don't want to get sick and bring it home. So you're wondering like what you can do. I mean, you can pray, you can send energy. If you're do healing work, you can send energy to Mother Earth. And this is a beautiful way to help shift your vibration. But you have the free will. You can keep going. depleting yourself, which will rob you of your pleasure and your peace. And like I said, the goddess is reminding you to take a fresh approach. And then final message, service as co-creation. My service, no matter how great or small, is a conscious act of co-creation with the world. I love it. And this is exactly what she's talking about, co-creating with the world right now. Let me see here. Active service. Here's the 9 again, right? End of a cycle. Let me see. Let me just pause for a moment. I feel like the goddess knows how important being of service is to you. Wanting to help others. It's like the caregiver way. But there needs to be balance. And so I feel like this overall message is, as you follow the actions of stillness, alignment, hashing it out with God, sharing your troubles with Jesus or the goddess energy, whatever you're guided to, I feel like as you do that and you're receptive, you use your feminine activation to receive guidance, insight, and abundance of energy, you'll be able to get back to co-creating and being of service in a healthy way. So I can't help but see these 9s here. You guys are coming up on the end of a cycle. The coronavirus experience, as I've seen it working with clients, is, I want to say, our beasts coming to light. It's like the beasts are roaring. And even globally for the planet, the beasts are roaring. And for me, it's like I just see this tiger roaring in my face, and I've learned to face it, allow it to roar, and then also transmute the energy of fear into empowerment. So, for example, if people were functional alcoholics and they didn't have to drink when they were at work, but then when they got home, they did, that energy is going to come to surface. Addictions are going to come to surface. Truths are going to be revealed. Things aren't going to be able to be hidden anymore. If there were marital issues, and people were escaping into work to avoid the challenges, guess what? They were going to have to be dealt with in this cycle. If people had financial issues, if you were always running thin financially, this obviously was a time where people were and are financially stretched. And that is a beast that roars really loud. Root chakra, survival, support, stability, security, right? And again, if you're a single mom and your beast is roaring about being spread thin financially, and you've got mouths to feed, and your lower back is aching, and your body is calling you back to stillness to take a break. But your mind is saying, no, keep going. You've got to figure this out. You've got to do more. And on top of it, you're trying to be of service to others. You're going to max yourself out. So this is a great time to say, okay, how can I do things differently going forward? How can I learn about the credit score? How can I learn about paying off debt? How can I learn about saving money and investing? How can I learn about getting my body healthy, making adjustments? And again, what you thought was working for you may not have been, and that became apparent now. We can't fly by the seat of our pants anymore, but we can co-create with the divine. We can ask the divine for assistance to show us another way, a fresh approach. So I feel like those of you who chose pile 1 here, your pathway to peace and pleasure is being open and receptive to the divine to guide you in another way. Co-create with the universe together. They want to be of service and assist you. And really, whatever that vibration is for you, they're ready, open, willing, and waiting. All you have to do is say, show me. That was the biggest shift shift I've ever experienced is when I came out of a divine guidance session and I looked up at God, and we did not have a good relationship at the time, and I said, show me, prove it. If this is real, show me. And I have to say, here I am 13 years later. Well, probably think it's like 15, because that was before I started my business, 15 or 16 years ago. And now here I am working for the man. So you'd be amazed at how your life changes dramatically in such a short amount of time. All right, friends. So those of you who chose pile 1, thank you so much for watching. If you watched this pile and you know somebody that can benefit from the messages, please share with them. Like and subscribe to my channel. The way the YouTube algorithms work is that when you like it, it stays in your feed, or when you subscribe and hit the notification, you'll get an email reminder. Or else it won't pop up in your feed. Whatever you're liking or whatever you're watching will be what will continue to show up in your feed. So if you want to stay connected, like I said, hit that like button or that subscribe button, the notification bell. And I thank you for watching. And for those of you who chose pile 2, welcome. So we have Damara, guiding children. You are good at helping, counseling, and healing children. Use your skills to help children now. So I feel like when I first pulled this card, it was going to resonate with social workers, therapists, counselors, teachers, nurses. Children, the word children doesn't have to mean under 13 or a literal child. We are all children of God, right? And so if you have a network or you have a tribe of people, and they're following you in some way, they can represent children. And again, children, it's not a hierarchy. It's not better or worse. Children are the planet's greatest teachers. When children come into this world, they're here to say, and they shine a light on what's wrong, and they shine a light on truth. And so those of you who chose pile number 2, I feel like Damara's coming forth to remind you that you're a blessing, that you're a leader, and that you are good at helping, counseling, and healing children, however that word resonates with you. Let me see. I said in the first reading, and I'm guided to share it again, that in this point in time when I am channeling this message, and I intend that these readings be timeless, so this could be at any point that you're watching in the future, I feel like the energy right now is coming to a peak. And the imagery that I keep getting is like a wave. Like the wave comes up, and then it pauses slightly before it comes down and breaks and then rushes to shore. And I feel like the energy we're in right now is at that peak. There's like this pause. And so it's like we can catch our breath. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. We're starting to see movement and shift, but we're in this pause. So where are you going, and how fast do you want to rush to shore? Or like I said, the energy can pick back up. So I feel like some of you who have children around, I'm feeling guided to share that the goddess energy wants you to be around them, with them. There are some amazing, beautiful videos online of how children are lighting up the world. The chalk messages that they're leaving on people's driveways. The artwork of rainbows that they're creating and putting in the windows, the teddy bears. There's such an innocence in this vibration of being in service, of wanting to help others. And so some of you who chose pile 2 could also need to receive from the child. Maybe you've been in the part of the parent and you've forgotten play. and you've been in such a place of service and giving that you've forgotten that you've also needed to receive. Because there's this beautiful energy here of this child receiving from the goddess. And there's this place of safety and security. So I feel like for some of you, the goddess is calling you back. Like, I would think like this would be you, and this is the goddess calling you back. Children, the mother energy represents nurturing, right? Nurturing, nourishment. The feminine energy needs to be cherished, right? The feminine energy needs to be nourished, nurtured. And so some of you who chose pile 2, you may need this for yourself as well. If you've been, like I said, doing all that for the child. So the goddess, I feel those of you who chose pile 2, wants to connect with you in the mother energy. And she wants to nurture your soul. She wants to soothe you. She wants to comfort you and support you as you've been such a light to her people. All right, so additional messages, of course. You know, I saw this card when I was shuffling. And I took a moment and paused. And I'm like, what a beautiful card. I haven't seen this. And I've used this deck quite often. And I just smiled when I saw it. And I'm so glad it came back. So we have 7 here, right? Which is the shadow energy. We'll get to that. 7 energy is a spiritual number. It's going within and seeing the unseen. So maybe some of you have been in so much service and taking care of others that the goddess is reminding you to amplify your positive emotions. Maybe children are scared. Maybe there are children in your life that are just realizing that they're not going to get to see their friends and their classmates, for the rest of the year. And maybe they won't be going back until the fall, and they can be scared and they can be confused. So I feel like the goddess is reminding you, those of you who are working with children in those service fields, amplify your positive energy for them. And then those of you who need to receive from the mother, the goddess energy, who needs to receive nurturing, comfort, and support, allow her to amplify your positive energy, whatever that means to you. And like I said, this also too comes in the stillness. If you need to receive this playful energy, this innocence, this energy of innocence, you've got to be open and receptive to it. And I feel like it can amplify your positive emotions. So additional message here, of course, empowerment. And here we have the number 9 again. So the pile number 1 had 2 cards with the number 9 in it. And so here we have the 9 again, which just makes me believe that we're in the end of a cycle. Like I said, that wave coming in and it's finally peaked. Like I feel like the energy right now is at the peak, and now the wave will start moving and rushing to shore, and then it disappears, right? And then, another wave comes in. So here we are in this space, and the goddess room wants to remind you that as you amplify your positive emotions, you become empowered. And maybe some of you have felt powerless. Maybe, like I said, you're a social worker, and unfortunately the reality is there are children in this world where school saved them, that they were better off in the education system than they were in their homes. Maybe they don't have homes. Maybe they live in poor, unsafe, unhealthy environments. So pray for these children. If you're a healer, send out the energy of love to them. And unfortunately, if things don't happen on a mass level, they don't change. I mean, that's human behavior. Like, people need to really feel the pinch in order for things to happen, in order for things to change. I mean, I wish it wasn't that way. And I obviously the work that I do is to raise an awareness that we don't have to struggle, right? We don't have to feel the pinch. God is always reminding us. God is always teaching us. God is always warning us, always. It's just like your car. Your car will tell you if you're running out of gas, or if your tire is running out of air, or if you need an oil change, but you got to pay attention to it. it, right? You got to have maintenance. And I feel like that's what like the kids need. If you've been completely drained in this environment, and like I said, you've had to really change the way you teach and go online, and parents are upset and you're not receiving the funding or the support that you need, it can be very draining. So, the goddess wants to remind you that you're an empowered soul, that you've come here to empower others, but you also need to receive love and support in those breaks as well. And in that, you amplify your energy, your positive emotions. So it's interesting we have 7 come up because it's the unseen, it's the subconscious, it's the why of the cycles. Like, here I am again in this financial situation, or here I am again in this relationship challenge, or here I am again dealing with this work stuff, or here I am again dealing with this health issue, right? This is the beast that's come up through this pandemic. So the shadow, your answer here, hold on a second, I'm all tangled in my wires. Here we go, is resistance. Whoa, oh my gosh, friends, look. 25. I don't know if you can see that, but it's 25. 2 + 5 = 7. So we have double 7s here. So some of you who chose pile 2, you're doing shadow work, and you're also seeing the shadow with the kids. Maybe you're in people's homes, with kids, online, and you're seeing the state of their environment, and you're getting anxious and want to do something. Keep that knowledge and wisdom and insight, because there's going to be a lot more that's going to come forth. People have to get angry, right? I certainly on my journey had to get fed up of feeling a certain way. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of myself. I'm sick of these emotions. In order for me to be open and receptive to another way, I'm a firm believer that there is always a reason why you're feeling the way you're feeling, and it's never what you think. So, and this is the beautiful benefit of therapists and spiritual teachers and advisors, is they're able to kind of get in there and support you based on their knowledge and wisdom. And I have to say, a big portion of therapists and counselors and teachers and nurses out there, they're in those fields because they've gone through hell and back, and they want to share their knowledge and wisdom so other people don't have to struggle the way they did. It's certainly my story. And so the goddess wants you to see where you're resisting support, or maybe you're resisting what you're seeing. Let me see here. I see. So maybe you're resisting change. A lot of us like a comfort zone, right? We get in a comfort zone, and we certainly like things to go a certain way. I certainly have a routine. I get up and I start my routine, and I take my time, and I talk to God, and I make my coffee. I take care of my dog, and I love and savor that time. But not always am I able to follow through with my routine, depending on time, what I have to do that day or that morning. And so I easily resist, I've got to get to this. And so another part of me reminds me of girl, go with the flow, get it done at another point. Take your time. It's no secret I'm not a morning person. I am a night owl. I love to be up. I am most active and prime in the afternoon, early evening, into the later in the evening. And then I like to wind down. So I'm not a morning person. So some of you may be resisting what's not working and resisting an opportunity for change or growth. How are you not allowing this energy in? And now this isn't a should or you're doing something wrong. It's an inquiry question for God and the goddess. Okay, goddess, in this moon cycle, new moon in Taurus as I record this, maybe you're watching it at a different phase of the new moon at some point in time in the future. A good inquiry question is like, okay, how am I resisting? God, show me. Goddess, show me with this moon what I'm resisting. Now, I have to tell you, friends, it does get a little uncomfortable. You do get squeezed and you do get clarity on where you're resisting, but you got to see it. You got to feel it. And when you're in tune with your body, when you're practicing self-care, your heart and your physical body will tell you when you're out of alignment. When you start to feel overwhelmed, when you start to feel fear, when you start to feel like aches in your body, it's a sign that you're coming out of alignment with the divine, with your spirit energy. And that is a perfect time to take a breath and go within. Take a time out, go out in your car, go into the bathroom, lock the door, and just give yourself a couple of minutes to reset. We're not talking about an hour here or half a day or a whole day. We're talking about 5 to 8 minutes, 5 to 8 minutes every day of just really bringing awareness up into your soul self, into the divine, into God's energy. Just 5 to 8 minutes a day can be life-changing. And the Dalai Lama, I believe he has a quote that says something about like, you don't really understand the benefits of gratitude until you're giving gratitude on a regular basis. It's the same thing with connecting with God and the divine. And then as human, we kind of fall out of it and we get away from it and things go crazy again. Then we're like, oh, you know what? That was working before and I've got to get back to it. And that's the wave of life. That's human nature, right? Human amnesia, I call it, right? If we're not having spiritual disciplines of connecting with the divine, God, Father, Creator, whatever that energy is for you, if we're not in a regular cycle of connecting on a regular basis, it's really easy to fall out of alignment. And one of the tools I've learned is that when I start to feel that fear or overwhelm or anxiousness, certainly you're going to feel it in your chest, you're going to feel jumpy, you're going to feel out of control. For me, it's always a time for me to take pause, allow the energy to revitalize my system, and I transform it into passion. I transform it into an energy that will revitalize my system. And then, like I said, I go to God and saying, okay, God, what am I doing? Show me. Sufi wisdom here. Return to joy. Oh, and children are all joy. So, as we're talking about the children, connecting with your own inner child is another message that I'm feeling right here. It says we are here to experience joy. And we can certainly experience joy no matter what's going on in the world. So there is the saying, as above, so below, as within, so without, meaning that your power or your empowerment is your energy vibration within. The old way of doing things, the old system has programmed the feminine energy to find heroism in multitasking and the martyr and being able to do everything. But what happens, it just depletes you of your energy. It makes you pissed off. It makes you angry. It makes you resentful and bitterness. And then guess what happens? Then you project that energy all over the place. He's this and she's that. I mean, we've seen that a lot the last few years. And so, if you can be empowered with the information that your vibration and how you're feeling can change your environment, it changes everything, right? And God is saying, just come to me and I'll show you the way. The goddess is saying, I know, I've been there, I've experienced it. Now, the goddess does have a forceful energy. If you think about Mother Nature, I mean, she has no problem clearing her planet. She has no problem with the survival of the fittest energy in the animal kingdom, in the plant kingdom, and even the human race. So we've got to be humble and honor that energy. And it's through joy, it's through laughter, it's through play, it's through the child energy that we can really shift things, right? It's not about what you can do. It's how you feel that is the most empowering. And final message, heart healing, of course. It says, my courageous healing journey brings me personal awakening and a deeper relationship with myself. And so this is the feminine energy. She is awakening. She is healing. The feminines, or those that resonate with the feminine energy or are activated by the feminine energy, Cancel. Let me rephrase that. The feminine's intuition is in her heart and her physical body. It always reminds me of bunny energy. So the bunny doesn't have the ability to fight like a jaguar or a bear or a panther. The bunny has a gift of intuition, right? And the bunny can sense danger a mile away. And then the bunny has the gift of speed, is being able to use that intuition to get out of the way. And so if you're not feeling connected, if you're not feeling like intuition and it's feeling distorted or foggy or unclear, the Soulful Woman card here is reminding you to do some heart healing. This is also too, if you're working in these fields that are of service to children, it's a reminder because you're probably seeing and experiencing things in the children energy that's hard. You know, there's a lot of awakening to children and trafficking. There's a lot of shadow and a lot of rescue attempts happening to save the children in so many levels. And so if you're a part of that world, or also too, if you're disconnected from your own inner child, you'll know when your inner child's throwing a tantrum because you'll feel pissed. You'll feel scared. You'll feel confused, angry. That's your inner child saying, hey, I need attention. I'm not feeling safe. Give me some love and support, right? And so those of you who chose pile 2, I'm feeling guided to share that maybe some heart healing. If you're having a hard time getting to these places, going into maybe YouTube and listening to a heart healing or heart chakra meditation. Maybe it's just binaural beats for the heart chakra. Maybe it's a heart chakra meditation. I feel like this is an overall message, like this is the how. And again, if you're feeling resistance to receiving love or you're unable to meet joy, this is the way. You know what I have to say? 2 + 6 is 8. 8 is the abundance energy. It's prosperity. It's flow. It's movement. But when 8s show up, it also can be a signal that you're repeating old patterns again. Like, what cycles are you continuing over and over and over again? How can you go to the divine and ask them for assistance to show you what cycles you're repeating over and over again? Heartache, betrayal, in all forms. So beautiful energy. You can even just take a snapshot of this card and meditate with her. Heart energy. The heart wants to grow here. You know, there's no coincidence that, you know, the seed has been planted in the heart and it wants to grow. Love wants to grow. And I can tell you the pathway is through children, our own inner child, connecting with children and being in that vibration, learning from them. We can't turn a blind eye anymore, friends. It's just going to get more apparent, the work that we need to do on this planet. All right, so those of you who chose pile 2, thank you so much for watching. If this pile resonated with you, hit that like button. As you hit the like button and the subscribe button and the notification, my videos will continue to show up in your feed. What I've learned is that whatever you like is what continues to show up in your feed. If you get away from it, then my videos will disappear on you. So, you know, keep me in your subscription if you want to stay connected. If you have a loved one or know somebody that could benefit from this reading, please share with them. And I thank you so much for watching. All right, so those of you who chose pile 3, Athena, inner wisdom. I already feel like my solar plexus being activated. There's such a power in this energy. This is the shadow. The owl energy sees the unseen. So those of you who chose pile 3, you may be an activator of the shadow. And again, that's the divine feminine in a lot of ways. Feminine energy has the gift of being able to see the unseen in a way that the masculine doesn't. Now, I have to say, the masculine has some incredible gifts that they offer and that they have in the masculine energy. I mean, there's nothing more attractive than a smart masculine. I mean, I've always said that. They have a way with their thinking mind that's powerful. But the feminine energy has a way of being a magnet and being open and making things happen energetically. And it's just as powerful. So I feel like those of you who chose Pile 3, your inner feminine is reminding you that you know what to do. Trust your inner wisdom and take appropriate action without delay. So maybe you've been guided to take action, or maybe you've had an experience that has been disempowering, or maybe you need to make some decisions and you're on the fence about what option to choose. There's the word integrity is coming up. And as I channel this reading, we are in the midst of the pandemic of 2020. The coronavirus hopefully is starting to subside or, decrease in numbers. And so once the dust is settled, those that have been in their integrity and wisdom will rise up and expand in their light even more powerfully. One of the things I noticed as I've been working with clients throughout this experience is that a lot of people made big changes right before this pandemic hit. And big leaps of faith. Some of you quit jobs and started a new venture. Some of you moved. Some of you left a city or town and moved somewhere else in another job. Some of you may have just gotten married or had children or are pregnant now. Major life changes. And so as the light expanded so rapidly, right, here comes the shadow energy to try to shrink it. But those of you who have been operating in your integrity and your truth and wisdom and doing right by God, your light is only expanding even more drastically now. So I feel like in a way, the universe has been flushing out the pretenders. That's the word that I get. The pretenders. Those that are or have been inauthentically on the bandwagon, whatever that is. And so a lot of people during this time have turned away from God, unfortunately. And I always say it's not good or bad, right or wrong. It's the most beautiful part of your healing process. I mean, I can tell you when I turned my back on God, it got dark for me. It got real dark. But my pathway back has been incredible. And I savor and treasure that connection more than I ever have. So there are some people, it's almost like I'm hearing, if you're going to talk the talk, you've got to walk the walk. And those of you that chose Pile 3, you guys are walking the walk. You're talking the talk, you're walking the walk. And this is Athena coming in and saying, keep going. You know what to do. Stay in the light. Especially, it's hard when so many people around you are crumbling or they're scared or they're confused. A lot of people are being faced with their decisions and their choices and their actions. And it's not punishment. It's to make change. It is no secret that we're elevating as a vibration on this planet. Earth angels have come to this planet in this moment. Here we are, April 2020. Earth angels are here no matter what age you are. People of service, highly sensitive people, caregivers, empaths, intuitives, light workers, whatever you resonate with. You're here to be of service in some way for humanity. And so you've come here, your spiritual journey. So your soul mission is the work that you do for others. Your spiritual journey is your own healing, your own growth, your inner work, right? And so you've come to this planet to experience the divine as a human being consciously. I mean, we're in a very different energy than the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. There's such an awareness of this force, right? This God vibration that operates within us, these ascended masters that are around us, this goddess energy, this God energy in the masculine form that we're awakening to it. And so a lot of you who chose this pile, you're having this inner wisdom that's being activated with you. And I do want to remind you, stay in your integrity, stay in your truth. Sometimes the right decision, sometimes the right course of actions, sometimes the straight and narrow can take more time to get to where you want to be. It's easy. The 3D world is meant to like destroy us, right? It's easy to get fat. It's easy to get in debt. It's easy to fall into addiction. It's easy to binge on too much TV, drama, all that stuff. And so, the 3D world is built to kind of like destroy that spirited part to get sucked in. And the light workers, those earth angels of the planet right now, we've been going course. And I feel like for a lot of you, the goddess is saying, don't fall off track, stay the course, go with what your heart feels right, stick with God, and you'll be safe and protected. Okay, additional messages here. The big picture. Yes. So again, this beautiful energy here. See how we have this growth? For me, this is like the feminine energy rising on the planet. This is amazing. 6 is a number of like family, home energy. It is nesting. It is baking, like it's kind of getting into that nurturing, homey energy. And so, which embodies the feminine energy, right? And so I feel like Athena is getting ready to show you the big picture. And that's why I say, like, it's going to be really easy to get thrown off course, to cave, right, out of fear or worry, but stay the course. You're going to see the big picture. And a lot of you, too, it's about getting back to what's important, right? Family, home, safety, security, friendships. Like I said, there's been a lot of power shifts. There's been a lot of pre-pandemic, there was a lot of energy that was fueling Hollywood, that was fueling the politics, that was fueling the sports industry, really like big money, right? And so now, and I have to say, waitresses and bartenders and nurses and teachers, it was like thankless jobs, right? People were so quick to yell at them or get impatient with them or treat them like they were nothing. And I have to tell you, post-pandemic, it's like I totally see the power shift. And a lot of people are being awakened to the big picture. Like, we got to start taking care of our priorities and what's important. It's like we got to get our priorities straight. And we're not going to know that unless we're feeling the pinch, unless we're uncomfortable. And this is what's happening on a mass level. But you know what? Those of you who chose pile 3 know this, but you're here to teach it. You're here to be the embodiment of truth, the embodiment of God's wisdom and messages. And the goddess wants to start making something within you, preparing something in you, brewing. I just see this brewing potion, brewing this energy within you. So she's helping you with this big picture. So what's in your shadow? Hunger. Wow, I just saw the pot, right? So here we have 29. 2 plus 9 equals 11, and then 1 plus 1 equals 2. So 2 is like a have faith energy for me. 2 is when worry or fear or doubt comes up, when the 2s pop into my life, it's a reminder that I have nothing to worry about, that I'm going to be okay. And this is a reminder, you know what to do, trust your inner wisdom. So as the big picture becomes apparent, in the shadow, you could have a hunger for knowledge and wisdom and insight. That burning, so again, I'm seeing this here. This is like the solar plexus I'm feeling. It's the empowerment. So some of you might be feeling that void, like, what can I do? How can I help? How can I activate this energy? It's like I see some of you have a thirst or a hunger for knowledge and wisdom and insight. There's like a burning. Some of you might be having creative ideas that are brewing or action steps to take. And so I feel like the goddess here wants to acknowledge that she's aware of your hunger to want to help, to want to heal, to want to expand your light. But also in this pause, like I said, in the beginning, I was talking about this wave, and I feel like we're in this space of where the wave has kind of come up and there's like a peak. It's the wave is just paused for that second before it breaks and rushes to shore and then disappears. So we're in this like peak. And I feel like before we can feed that hunger externally in the 3D, we need to feed it from above. And I feel like the goddess is going to, through meditation, through stillness, through angel cards and insight, being able to see the unseen, it's going to fill this hunger, and it's going to make what the big picture is more clearer for you. So Sufi wisdom here. Let me see. Make friends. I love it. Friendship is the alchemy of success. Again, we're talking about family, security, retribe. I keep saying like retribing, like we're this lifetime and where we're at right now, up until, I want to say from 2008 to 2016, there was a lot of separation from soul tribes. And, you know, if you believe in the energy of past lives, you know, there's a lot of belief that we've come to these lifetimes with a certain people, a certain soul tribe, soul groups. And those last few years, 2008 to 2016, it was an awakening of the dysfunction of those soul groups. And so we have in this lifetime an opportunity consciously to handpick people, places, things, and ideas in this lifetime. But remember, when you're choosing, choose wisely, because you're also choosing for lifetimes forward. So I choose support and friendships and mentors of the highest wisdom who love to laugh and play, who are working on themselves, doing their own inner work, who are empowering, who are helping humanity. Like, that's my tribe, that's my network. And so I feel like this message is reminding you to make new friends, call in the vibration. So this action here where it says you know what to do as you get the bigger picture and you have this hunger to want to help in some way, you're not going to be able to do it alone. Oh, you know what I'm just realizing? Wolf energy. I've been seeing wolf energy the last couple weeks in my readings with clients and even with myself. Wolf energy is independent and works well with others. I'll repeat that. Wolf energy is independent. It can certainly survive on its own. And it works well with others. Same thing with the goddess energy. She's balanced in her masculine and feminine energy. She can do it. She's good on her own. But she's even more expanded and powerful with others, right? And so making friends is, a lot of you are separating from old soul groups, old paradigms, old family dynamics, friendships with people. There's a lot of movement that's happening right now. The bigger picture is reintegrating into a network of people that are aligned with your beliefs and your beliefs and how you want to make an impact in the world. But you got to remember, the goddess can certainly be an individual, and she's good with herself, and that is incredible. And I have to say, a lot of you are learning that. A lot of you are learning to be, so there's been this separation from codependency, right? Needing other people for financial reasons. You know, there's a lot of people who are in marriages that stay because they don't feel like they can make enough money. You know, there's a lot of people who stay in households because they feel the other people, you know, if they've got addictions, they can't do it on their own. There's a lot of these old outdated programs. And again, we don't make changes unless we're fed up and we're over it, right? And so you have to understand that there's a lot of movement right now on the planet. And we're seeing the big picture. So make sure that you're handpicking the people, places, things, and ideas that resonate with the individual self, this person that you are. Because we're getting ready to work well with others. I see collaborations. I see retreats. I see the ego being broken down. Oh, the wolf moon, I'll tell you, howling at the moon. There's this, again, the solar plexus. There's an empowerment that comes from the tribal energy. And I have to say, if you think about past lives with in the tribal community, people shared information. They shared knowledge and wisdom and insight that they had to help keep others alive, right? They didn't have a population like the United States or the earth has now. So in order to survive, they had to learn the hard way and then share that information with others. And so there's a lot of that happening right now with coaches and therapists and nurses and teachers and social workers, if I haven't said that yet. There's a lot of these service fields where we've learned and received knowledge and insight, inner wisdom, and now we're sharing that with others to empower and help them. And it's activating this force that's in this light that's shifting the planet. Final message here. Uniquely myself. This goes back to the wolf, right? Making new friends, being independently empowered and working well with others. Of course, we have 3 + 2 here, right? 3 + 2 is 5. 5 in a lot of ways is about changing our approach to things, changing our ways of thinking, what's not working anymore. And this goes back to the message with the soul group shifts, the paradigms in our tribes and who we connect with. Again, it doesn't mean right or wrong, good or bad, but when we're not, there's a lot of times people go to churches, for example, or they're part of an organization or they're part of a group and they really feel good in it. They're helping, they're being of service. And then all of a sudden something shifts. Then all of a sudden they're starting to see things that they didn't see before. Then all of a sudden they're starting to lose interest and it's not such a calling like it was before. This happens in people's jobs too. This happens in relationships. And so what happens is a lot of times, you've learned as much as you could learn in that environment, and it's time to grow. It's time to change your thinking. It's time to expand in new ways. But a lot of people like to hold on, right? A lot of people fear change. So they hold on and they stay in these jobs and they stay in these relationships and they stay part of these organizations. And then drama ensues because people have outgrown the situation and they're not leaving or shifting and allowing new energy to come learn from those positions. So we really have to get comfortable in flow and movement. When I started my business 13 years ago, I realized real quick that I have to get really comfortable with uncertainty, that I have to be comfortable, uncomfortable, because I knew every step forward after that, my ego is going to want to resist. My ego is going to want to stay in the comfort zone, especially as a Cancer, such a water dominant sign. I enjoy my home. I enjoy comfort. I enjoy safety and security. That was not going to work in entrepreneurship. So I had to find balance. And so a lot of you are being guided with your inner wisdom, a new way of thinking, a new approach. The message here says, I trust that who I am is perfect for my unique journey and soul path. So some of you who maybe chose this card, maybe you're feeling a calling to share wisdom. There's been so much bullying, on social media and YouTube that, a lot of people, especially the feminine energy, has been afraid to speak up. Oh my God, I'm talking about fear, right? And I hear the sirens right outside my window, which of course is Archangel Michael. And so he's reminding you, if you've been wanting to speak up, but you fear persecution or you fear an attack, I don't know if you can hear it. The sirens. Michael is saying, I'm on it. I've got your back. I'm with you. He goes, I need you to be you. I need you to be a force for good. I need you to share your inner wisdom and your insight. And I need you to guide people through the darkness, right? So those of you who chose pile 3, you have the wolf energy activated with you. You have the Mother Earth, divine feminine energy that's activated within you. You're being called to a new tribe, but you have to really know yourself individually. Is the sirens. You've got Archangel Michael that's got your back, and you need to be a leader, right? It's time for you to step into your full power and use your voice, use your gift of communication. Some of you, I feel like, may need to do some throat chakra clearing. So if you're feeling a scratchy throat, or you're watching this reading and your throat got dry, or you're coughing, or you're clearing your throat, the divine is getting ready to speak through you. The goddess is about to activate within you, and she needs you to speak your truth, whatever that is. And she's going to make you strong. There's a hunger for more on this planet. There's a hunger for more love. There's a hunger for more friendship and connection and oneness, right? There's a connection. There's a hunger for tribes and being part of a part of something, but not in a codependent way, right? Independently. I keep wanting to say independently dependent on others, but it's that wolf energy. We're an individual, unique in your own way, and works well with others. It's not either or, it's the and that's in there. And that is amazing grace. Okay. I think that's all I got to say about that. So those of you who chose pile 3, thank you so much for watching. The best way to continue watching and getting notifications is to like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell. What happens with the YouTube algorithms is that once you come out of alignment with it, or if you're not active on this channel, what happens is it just disappears and starts filling your feed with other stuff. So if you want to stay connected, again, click that like button after the videos. If you know that these readings can help somebody that you love, a friend in some way, maybe your community or network, if you've been speaking the same message, because that's how the divine speaks, share this, with your community. That would be greatly appreciated on my end as well. And I can't thank you enough for watching. So if you want to stay, I'm going to close down space. As I said, the pile's back out. All right, so let me close space. Thanking all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, God, source, creator of the universe, and all his holy beings of light who held space for us. I want to thank the goddess energy, the divine feminine energy, the Holy Spirit energy, Irene, Damara, and Athena for their messages and their guidance, for empowering messages for us. And I'm going to ask that any healing that was started continue for as long as it needs to be done. And so it is. And those are your messages, friends. So I just want to remind you of another week or so of the discounted services for divine guidance, mediumship, and life purpose for the video chat sessions. The discount is already applied. So in the description box below is a link to my online booking system. You can do that. I've really enjoyed connecting with you. I'm also doing groups. If you have a group of 6 people and you want to get together and do like a group reading, maybe connecting with loved ones or connecting with the angels, send me an email. Of course, that is also in the link below, support@goddessoracle.com, or like I said, you can click the link below and we can set something up. I'm doing them via Zoom, and I've done a few of them and they've been awesome. It's been really cool connecting with groups in that way. So that's also available. And as always, I love you. God loves you so much. Trust in the divine, trust your intuition, and I send you love with heavenly hugs. Bye for now.